Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to a new day, a new moment. Welcome to a safe place where women can come together to share, to learn, to grow, and to become. I introduced to some and I welcome back others. Y'all, it's time for Herversations. Yes. What is Herversations? So glad you asked. Herversations is a branch off of an organization that I own, A Woman's Voice Matters. Have you ever thought of what you get when you desire to make a difference? And then you mix it with the victory of outliving your own choices. You add a little structure here, strategy there. The end result is an unstoppable force of living proof vessels who vow to make a difference in every life we encounter. A Woman's Voice Matters is comprised of a dynamic group of modern day history makers: Charmonique, Diane, Hadassah, Laura, Tashia, and Marcy. I affectionately call them my dream team. Together, we impact, educate, empower, and encourage women of all walks of life to live their best life. Life happens. It's the thing that happens in between our plans. And when life happens, whether you have $2 in the bank or $2 million, life has the power to steal dreams, victories, and our voices. While I'll never confess to have all of the answers, I will confess to being living proof that if I can survive Nakia, you can survive you. The grave has too many answers. Every mistake you have ever made is somebody else's roadmap to success. Flawed people are the only ones that know the way out. I am sending out a clarion call through Herversations to every voice listening that ever made a mistake or a choice in life. That's the real deal. If you made a mistake or a choice, join me and my dream team on the journey to the best versions of ourselves that we've ever seen. We can be found on all social media outlets at AWV Matters and via the web at www.awvm.online. We are stronger together. The more we are, the mightier we are. And I'm so grateful to be on this journey. Be sure to join us. As I said, you're listening to the podcast Herversations, and I'm going to tell you right now that I would not be here if it was not for my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. He has kept me, He is keeping me, He is my hope, my inspiration, my everything. I give Him all honor, all glory, and all praise. I thank God in every area of my life. And of course, I will be remiss if I did not thank the one who was bold and courageous, maybe a little crazy enough to give me his last name. None other than my husband. Many people know him as Bishop Donald Wright. To me, he is my greatest gift that God could have ever given me. I love him and I adore him more than words would ever be able to articulate. So, Dr. Wright, if you're listening, your boo just gave you a major shout out. There should be some repercussions for this major shout out that I just gave you. So let's get started. Today, I wanted to hear the voices of strong women walk in their purpose, answering their own clarion calls and doing remarkable things in an extraordinary time. And so I want to introduce my first guest today. Her name is Karen B. Moore. Typically, I have my guests introduce themselves. But today, I reviewed their bios. Their bios are so dynamic that it may take me a couple of extra minutes in this podcast, but I believe that their accomplishments in life are so great that I need to acknowledge every line that was written about these women. So I'm going to begin with my first guest, Karen B. Moore. Karen B. Moore is a wife, a mother, author, and empowerment coach and speaker. She's honored and blessed to enjoy life with her wonderful and loving husband of over 16 years, Cornell Moore. Come on, shout out to 16 years. Come on now. I'm high-fiving you through this podcast. For those listening or viewing online, I'm high-fiving her. And they are proud parents of two beautiful daughters. Karen is strengthened by being the fuel to ignite the fire in women, helping them to uncover their passion and reveal their true purpose. She stays strengthened by always spending time with God, the power source. You better know it, girl. One of her proudest accomplishments has been having the opportunity to mother two women that she can pour into and encourage on their life's journey. She's also proud of her educational accomplishments, which include graduating with a bachelor's in business and with a master's in Christian ministry. Again, high fiving through the airways, high fiving through the airways. The accomplishments that gives her the most joy is surrendering to God and continuously building that relationship, which affords her the ability to change lives daily. And the first life being changed was her own. Listen, I always say this. I'm talking to me and letting you listen. Have y'all ever heard anybody ad lib through a bio? How out of order is this? But I'm so excited reading these lines. KarenBMoore.org is the umbrella that houses all things empowerment to reach women all over the world. We have Empower You Apparel. I like that. They're faith-based t-shirts, journals, beautiful bling pins. Because her mission is to empower you, women, from the inside out, the Karen B. Moore Jewelry Collection is coming very soon. Come on now. You know the Bible says first come natural. You know if we look good, we feel good. Yes, I love it. So listen, be sure to stay connected with her. And before this podcast is over, I'll make sure that I give you the information of how you can stay connected to her. So I'm going to introduce to some and present to others. Come on in, Karen B. Moore. How are you today?
I am doing awesome. How are you?
I am so grateful and excited. Did you hear that? I talked through your whole bio. How out of order is that?
Oh, you did awesome. You did awesome.
Oh, I love it. I'm going to introduce my next guest. Now, let me tell you something. Her bio is off the chain. I mean, you thought Karen was giving, the ladies came with it today. I'm excited about this one. Iman Leslie McFarland. These three words mean everything to Iman: tolerance, fellowship, and honesty. I know that's right. As a 6'2" center forward for Bishop McNamara High School in Forestville, Maryland. Yes, Forestville, come through District 6. Iman displayed leadership qualities and helped to lead her team, the Mustangs, to the 2003 Washington Catholic Athletic Conference and city title champions. Come on, Iman. Yes. Not only did she lead them to the championship, listen to this. Iman maintained a 4.2 GPA average while playing ball and tutoring her teammates. Let me tell you, that's a double duo. Girl, you better do it. I'm excited about this. And she she played ball, she tutored her teammates, and even after school, tutored children at Garfield Elementary, supporting educational development in others. Iman received many awards during high school, including the 2005 Nike All-American, girl, I need your autograph before we're over, Maryland Gatorade Player of the Year. Come on, celebrity status. I'm excited about this. And she was the recipient of the Washington Post Michael Trilling Award. Baby, you are a force to be reckoned with. Because she excelled athletically, academically, and also served her community in various ways. She's also found time outside of school to volunteer at the Share Warehouse, packing bulk food for churches and community groups to distribute. During high school, Iman volunteered at McNamara's sister school, Lake Victoria Secondary School in Africa. Amazing. Iman continued to excel in her undergraduate years while attending University of North Carolina, UNC, Chapel Hill, as a student athlete, and continued to find ways to give back. For instance, Iman coached youth basketball ages 6 to 10 to help build their confidence and team building skills. She visited Children's Hospital of Chapel Hill on a monthly basis to bring cheer and support, holding babies, reading to the children, just standing in the gap for others, showing the compassion and dedication to helping others. This is dynamic. While at UNC, Iman had the opportunity to travel to Nicaragua and the Boys and Girls Club of Charlotte, North Carolina, to build basketball courts and teach the local community the benefits of basketball. Iman served as captain of the Division I ACC championship team during her junior and senior year and kept the team focused on their academics and their game skills. When Iman started to post work, she volunteered at Food and Friends, delivering specialized meals to the sick and shut in on a weekly basis. She continued in service by volunteering with the Project Expo, introducing African American youth to the hospitality industry and helped to develop the program and create a curriculum for the program. I mean, I feel like she's gonna come out here with a halo on, and I mean, and the glory just shining in a rainbow behind her head. This is amazing. Upon graduation with honors from Howard University with a master's in business administration, Iman continued to focus on her efforts on giving back to her community. She is currently the COO of her 30-year-old family business located in Prince George's County. Come on, Prince George's County, proud, her hometown. Iman continues to volunteer for delivering meals to the sick and shut-in, serving meals to the homeless, sitting on the advisory council of Project Expo. The last year was a challenging one for many reasons. COVID-19 caused the event industry to shut down completely. Iman's family business had to make a major pivot that would keep their business open and give back to the community. Iman's father developed the idea, the campus, a 40,000 square foot facility that would provide athletic training, academic training, and wellness services to the DMV area. This facility has been a godsend and has allowed trainers, tutors, and other small businesses to remain open as they now have a place to generate revenue at the campus. Not to mention the thousands of children that have been able to enjoy something so familiar, having fun playing sports. Iman fought to keep her small business open, but she did not stop the fight there. She had the opportunity to testify before the Small Business Senate Committee, representing the millions of minority businesses that continue to suffer because of the results of the pandemic. Iman expressed to the committee that small businesses are in need of resources and support to assist with bringing back their staff, health benefits, and safety equipment to keep their staff and customers safe. Progress has been made, but the fight continues today. Iman and her family are always up for the challenge. Let me tell you something. Put your hands together, get out the church tambourines, and welcome my guest, my next guest, Iman McFarland. Yes, girl.
Hi, everyone.
You see what I'm saying? Absolutely amazing women. Iman, welcome to Herversations.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh my goodness, you ladies today literally just made my day. I know I probably broke all rules of protocol reading both of your bios. Let me apologize in advance, but I was truly excited hearing about your accomplishments. You should always celebrate those that are among you. So I was reading and celebrating. Yes. For those of you that are tuning in, you've just tuned into another edition of Herversations. My guests today are Karen B. Moore and Iman McFarland. Let's get started. We are here today listening to strong voices in the small businesses community. I always say this, that small businesses matter. They are the foundation of our structure. They're the foundation of how we generate revenue in our businesses, and they are the leading revenue maker worldwide. So I'm going to start with you, Iman. Absolutely amazing bio. Your accomplishments are phenomenal. Please, I mean, I know I've said so much in your bio, but will you begin with just sharing with us a little bit more about your business, what it is you do? And after you do that, talk to me about how business was prior to the pandemic and now after the pandemic. We're living in a time that we never, ever imagined we would be living in. And just to hear the success stories, if we become living proof that if she can make it, if I can make it, if Karen can make it, you can make it too. So please, Iman.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. Well, I know we are certainly living in uncertain times. And 30 years ago, I was 4 years old, and my dad had a vision of creating something for his family, to build a legacy. And so we he created 21st Century Expo Group. We are the only African and women-owned trade show, exhibit, and special event production and management company in the country. So
wait. Iman, say it one
Yes,
more
ma'am.
time for the people in the back. Say it one more
Yes,
time.
ma'am. We are the only African American and woman-owned trade show firm in the country. Yes. Out of thousands of firms, we produce conventions. So when you go to see a car show or a job fair or the NAACP convention, we are in the background creating what you see. We take the vision of the NAACP, the National Baptist Convention, and we bring it to fruition. We started working with Fortune 500 tech companies because of the emphasis on supporting minority businesses. So we've been working with Google, we've been working with Facebook, we've been working with Intel, and it's just been an amazing ride. Now that I am no longer 4 years old, I'm able to contribute to my family business as a second generation owner. But with the pandemic, having tens of thousands of people in one space was just not possible. It just wasn't. And our industry wanted to keep the world safe. We knew that we had to do our part and stand down to ensure the livelihoods of America. And so we couldn't just sit. I mean, we had a team of 15, we had expenses, we had rent. And so we decided to utilize our warehouse space. Spaces is such a precious thing in the DMV area. And we wanted to utilize it to give back to our community. We saw, kids learning virtually, which has never been done before. And we saw that the data was showing how they were lagging behind. So we wanted to give a space that was large enough that we could social distance. We can bring tutors in, we can bring students in, and they can still get that face-to-face, but in safely learning environment. And then we just wanted kids to have fun. Everyone was housebound during the winter. So now just being able to see and hear the kids screaming and yelling that they're finally in a place that they can rip and race around has just been something that helps us keep going and keep getting up every day. And so we're still at a standstill with the event industry. We're hoping that maybe in late 21, early 22, we can get events, but it really depends on people getting the vaccine, herd immunity, and really just wanting to keep people safe. And so that's our number one priority, first and foremost. So we're focusing all our efforts into our local community and what the campus can give at this time.
That's so great. Now, where is your facility located, Iman? And listen, the things that we used to take for granted, the sound of kids laughing and having a great time is music to our ears now, right?
Yeah.
Just
it really is.
Yes.
We'll be in our office, and there's a wall, of course, separating us from the gym. And at like 4:45 after school, you can just hear the loudness increase as more kids come into the building. But we're based in Capitol Heights. We're right off of the Ritchie Marlboro exit, off of 495,
Yes.
close. Yeah, in between Ritchie Marlboro and Central Avenue. So
Yes.
it's a pretty good location.
Oh, we're excited. I love when we have our D6 family on the line to share a moment with me. I am in District 6. I've been a Prince George's County resident my entire life. And I've lived in District 6 since I was 18 years old. I moved out from my mom, and now 46 years old, I am still in District 6. So I am committed. Karen, thank you. Please share with us who you are, what it is that your business is doing and how you've been able to you sound like you're online. So the one thing that you might not have had to do was brick or mortar, but your marketing, I'm sure, changed because of the pandemic. Share with us, Karen.
Yes, yes, yes. I am Karen B. Moore. I am in North Carolina. So
What part of North Carolina, Karen?
Yes.
I am in Clinton, North Carolina, and Iman, I actually went to UNC Chapel Hill for 3 years. So
Whoa, go Heels.
So I'm in Clinton, North Carolina. I'm near Fort Bragg, which is a military base in Fayetteville,
Yes.
North Carolina. Yes, so that's where I am, living with my husband, who is my high school sweetheart. So we've been together since I was 14. He was 15. And we're here with our girls and we're just enjoying life. But with my business, as you said, it is online. So most of the things I do are online, but I did have to make that adjustment. With the pandemic, it really became a marketing thing, and I really had to get my message of empowering women out there. My sales have increased greatly since the pandemic. My faith-based apparel really skyrocketed because during that time, people really needed to see faith. They really needed to wear faith. They really needed to see that, you know, this didn't have to be the end. So during my morning time with God, he dropped the phrase, even in this, as I was thinking, you know, even in this pandemic, you know, we're still here. We still have a purpose. You know, we still can move forward even in this. So that really skyrocketed. And then I added the journals to help people really write down your feelings and emotions and really write down visions and ideas that you have, and to let people know, listen, even though it's a pandemic, use this time to strengthen what you have, to even find out what your true passion and purpose is, because a lot of people, I think, really didn't know. And I think this pandemic allowed that downtime from, you know, doing all of the things that we do to really focus and hone in on what our passion is.
So good, so good. And you said something that's so key that my husband and I use as a tool in marriage counseling. I often tell wives to journal their emotions because oftentimes as wives we want to revisit an issue over and over again because in our mind we don't have peace with it, and it can be perceived as nagging as one of the things that our husbands shut down on. And I always tell wives, when you are over emotional about a thing, no matter what it is, journal it. Get all of your feelings out on paper. It is such a healthy exercise. So I am so grateful to hear that. Now, Iman, share some of the things that you have experienced as a woman in business, being the first that has ever done what it is that you do, some of the challenges and some of the victories. Because while I do believe in sharing your struggle stories, because those are necessary, because if you paint a pretty picture and someone hits a place called struggle, they feel as if they're doing something wrong. So they need to know that struggle is part of the process, but there is victory on top of their continuing. So share with us some of your struggles that you've had in being the first in this field, and some of the incredible victories that you're grateful for that made it all worth it.
Sure. Well, I mean, in most part, we've been very blessed and fortunate to have survived for 30 years in an industry that there is not a lot of representation. We have, I've experienced, trying to be belittled by the unions that, they don't see people like me. They have to look up at me. I'm 6'3", and it's and most of the male counterparts, can be somewhat aggressive at times, but and partly because they don't know who I am. I usually get my hands. I jump in. I'm building the booth and not necessarily managing the team, acting as if I am leading it. But I prefer to meet my team on the ground floor and do the hard work with them. And I think that has helped me make a connection to show them that I am no better than them. I've been fortunate enough to meet with U.S. presidents, Fortune 500 CEOs, professional athletes, and my team. Even though we are all in this together, I treat them like they are my boss. I ask them, what do you think we should do? What if we have an issue? What does it look like you running and solving the problem? So I'm always trying to create an inclusive environment, which I think could be multiplied on every single level in the world. Just hearing people's perspectives and feel like they're being listened to and not being talked down on. So I've taken my experiences and I've tried to ensure that it does not repeat itself with the team that I manage at this time. So I've been very fortunate that our industry has been welcoming and a very positive environment. I know that is not the case in a lot of the workplaces, but I've been blessed to be able to be the builder and creator of an environment that pushes people up and not down.
I love it. And one of the things that I would say when I hear you talk is when you are introduced to someone who is talking down to you, my first response was like, "B, do you know who I am? I am Iman McFarland. Google me. Google me." But let me just share some statistics with you all, because again, I did say this, that our small businesses matter. During the pandemic, I personally assisted the small businesses in Prince George's County in obtaining over $1 million in COVID relief funds and giving them ideas, business strategies of how they can pivot their business in order to thrive and not just survive during this time. So small business is an area that I'm passionate about. But let me tell you why we should be just this passionate about small businesses. I'm going to go through some statistics. There are 582 million entrepreneurs in the world. There were 774,725 new businesses established in the United States at the end of 2019. As of 2019, there were 252 million female entrepreneurs worldwide. More than 3 in 4, that's 78%, of the U.S. small businesses are currently for-profit companies. More than 3 in 4, I read that, 72% of the U.S. businesses are owned by African Americans and they're for-profits. More than half of the new businesses started in the U.S. over the past decade are minority owned. The number of people wanting to start their own business because of their dissatisfaction with corporate America grew 27% in 2020. And in 2018, 15.6% of all U.S. adults were entrepreneurs. More than half of our world is made up of entrepreneurs and small businesses. Team, you matter. And when you want to think about what should I be doing in the world, Karen referenced this, when people are literally just focusing on what their purpose is. What I often say is 2 things. Find what it is that you're passionate about, the thing that you think about when you wake up, when you get quiet and you sit down, that thing that is on your mind that never leaves your heart. And you always find your mind drifting to this thought, this target audience, this area. That is what it is that your purpose is attached to. And if you create a solution to one of the problems that you have, then you create a business and make money off of making your life easier. Karen said this, which is so key. She said, I journal. So I created journals for me to write in. She created a solution for one of the things that she absolutely loved. Karen, being in business and being an empowering other women to not only start their own business but be consistent. In some of your one-on-ones with women, some of us, because of past failures, lack the courage to begin again. What advice would you give a woman who has suffered what some would perceive, I call them lessons, others would call them life failures? What is some advice that you would give a woman that would encourage her?
What I would say is you have not failed, but you have fallen into a place of purpose. You've fallen into a place where you can learn from any mistakes that you might have made, any wrong turns that you might have made, and just press forward. Because I was one of those that felt I needed to be validated. You know, I felt like I always had to have someone say, give me that pat on the back. Oh, you're doing great. And that kind of held me back a long time. But whenever you make mistakes and you fail, use it as a stepping stone. Stand on that, take the lessons from it, and move forward.
That's great advice. And one of the things that I've learned for myself is that in this day and time, many people's success stories are what they see on social media. And I will say this, that social media is scripted. You're only going to get 1% of someone's actual truth. But to make sure that mentors are key in whatever area and business that you want, try to attach yourself with someone who has proven success and will not only tell you about their victories, but will also tell you about their intentional mistakes. Because in business, you learn from your mistakes. And if you never tell me about your mistakes, you're not giving me a roadmap to be a success. So I would suggest that you definitely find someone to mentor you through the business process. One thing we do not have a lot of is time, and I promise you, it will save you a lot of time. Iman, you have an impeccable resume. And one of the things that stood out to me is that you work with your family. How is that working with your family? Because for many of us, that is a dream come true.
Yeah, it's been a blessing, and I realize that more and more every day, as my, some of my friends are far away from their parents. They haven't even been able to see their parents, especially with COVID, and unfortunately, some are starting to lose their parents. And I get to see my mom and dad every single day. We have the best working relationship and the best familial relationship, in my opinion. It's an amazing balance. I have both my father and my mother, and so I come in the middle, and we're able to balance each other out. And there's three of us, so we're always able to make a good decision on either whatever is going on in the business. So it's been really fun. I am blessed to have them there with me, and I'm actually just working really hard so that they can retire.
Yes.
They're both in their mid-60s, and they've worked so hard for the last 30 years to build something for me and the community at large. And I would really love to send them down south to a beach of some kind.
I love it.
So that's been on my mind pretty heavily.
That is so good. Many of us have to start from zero. And I've always been intentional in making sure that I build a legacy for my children and that they too won't have to start from zero. That my mom and dad are absolutely amazing people. And you learn in life that people do the best they can with what they have. And you just acknowledge that their best was what gave you life. Yeah. And that you take what it is that they instilled in you and you become better. Because that's the heart and the goal of every parent, that you don't just be who you see me, but you work and grow and be better than me. That makes a parent a heart of a parent, and I have two kids, a 18-year-old child that just passed his learners today. Glory to God. Pray for
Whoa,
me.
get
Ooh,
the wheels.
yes. And a 23-year-old daughter. And as you know, I have
Yeah.
a 3-year-old boss baby. And it is very important that we build a legacy for our family. So again, you are tuning into Herversations podcast, and I am talking today with Iman McFarland and Karen Moore, who are two African American small business entrepreneurs who are doing some phenomenal things. And I am just so grateful to be in their presence and to hear their story. Karen, how important is building legacy for you, for the ones coming behind you?
It is very important. Legacy is very important to me. I have two girls, a 20-year-old and a 13-year-old, and it's important for me to share with them how to maneuver and how to not have to depend on one stream of income or just one thing, and to have something that makes a difference. My 13-year-old is my shipping department. She loves to help mommy with shipping. She loves to help me, and she'll come in and say, "Mommy, do you have packages to ship?" We've got her own desk and computer and the shipping and everything all set up.
Yes.
So, and she's earning money from this. So mommy's not just using free help. But it's important. It's important for me to share with them how to continue to push forward, how to create something that is a blessing to others, that solves an issue for somebody, and that will continue to be a blessing to them as well.
That's so great. One of the things that I taught my kids when they first started making money was pay your tithes before you do anything else.
That's it. That's
Because listen, when you get established, me, I didn't get saved until I was later in life. And when I fell in love with the Lord, and they said you got to give the church 10% of your money, I was like, "Oh, say what now?" Well, let me tell you something. Tithing will open up doors that no man can. So I believe in tithing, but listen, the lesson had to be gradually taught to me. I understand it. But once I realized that it was my heart that I was giving him through my money, I give to God without a second thought.
yes.
And what I would say is so great that our children get a strong work ethic, because home is our foundation. Home is where we get life's principles. So being sure that you are instilling good ethics in your child homes, they take it out to the street, they take it to their friends, and it becomes contagious. So hats off to you, Mom.
Oh,
Iman, when I look at your resume, when I look at all of the accomplishments that you've had in life, which are great from a young age, I mean, the stories that you will be able to tell your grandkids are going to be so remarkable. Um, in life, there are things that will happen that if you had an opportunity to give your younger self a message, what would you say to your younger self? And let me start. I never ask a question that I don't, an intimate question that I don't answer. And I'll begin with saying to my younger self, I would say to Nakia, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to not always get it right the first time. It doesn't make you less of a person. What it does is it shows your strength of how much of a great comeback story you are. And so for my younger self, I always tell her, have grace with you. Give yourself grace. Be patient with the process. In the end, on the other side of it, you'll find out that the process was necessary and the process was worth it. So, Iman, what would you tell your younger self?
Sure. Well, I completely agree with what you would have told your younger self, and I'm a youth ambassador for Strong Youth, Strong Communities. It's a nonprofit created by Daryl Green, and it's partnered with the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So we travel the country talking to inner city youth who struggle with, low self-esteem, high youth dropout, and just, are coming from abusive homes. And, what I try to instill with them, and I think about our bios and how amazing we all are on paper, but what most people don't see are, when I was in high school, I was bullied, or middle school and high school, I was bullied. I did not love myself. I didn't like that I was 6'2" and I stood out. And so what I try to tell young people, and what I would tell young Iman would be to stay fly, which is, find love for yourself.
Yes.
And yeah, and just, to
Wait,
love who
excuse
you
me.
are.
Pause.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you accolades the first time. The second time, I'm gonna say somebody said it. By the third time, it's mine. I'm telling you now. I won't put it on paper, so I won't listen. I won't break any of the ethics law, but vocally, oh, that's mine.
Yeah, please do. And I mean, it applies to every single age. We all struggle every part of our life. We struggle with our inner demons saying something is not right with you, or you did something wrong. And you have to combat that inner voice with, finding things that you love about yourself, positive self-talk, meditation, gratitude, mindfulness, and journaling, doing things that you love, finding joy. And so that's what I would tell little Iman is just love yourself, and it'll all work out.
It'll all work out. If someone would have told us on the other side of our meltdowns that
Yeah.
it'll all work out, life would have been
Mhm.
so much easier to live. Karen, what
Mhm.
advice would you tell your younger self?
I would tell the younger Karen to understand that you have everything you need. You do not have to fit into a mold that someone else has decided to try to put you in.
Yes.
You don't have to do that. You have everything you need. So whatever you're passionate about, do that. Do you. That's what I always tell people, do you. It's whatever
Mhm.
you desire, whatever God has placed in your heart that you're passionate about. And everybody doesn't have to understand it. It's okay if everybody doesn't understand why I do what I do. But as long as I understand, I'm good. So I would tell the younger Karen, just be comfortable in your own skin and know that you don't have to be validated.
That's very good. And the one thing that I often remind my children is that you are uniquely made. No,
Mhm.
you cannot take a shortcut and become a carbon copy of someone else. You have to dig out and find the very thing that you were born to do, because whatever it is that you were placed in this earth to do, nobody else is able to do it but you. So spend your life being proudly and uniquely you. You'll never see anybody like you. And one of the things you said, which is so good, is owning your uniqueness. It is
Mhm.
necessary in growing and in building and in establishing, owning who you are. As we are coming to close to an end for this Herbacetions podcast, which I've enjoyed immensely. Anytime you have an opportunity to sit down with proven vessels, talking about their accomplishments, some of their failures, where they are in life, do not ever dismiss the moment. These are moments where vital gems are given. You will hear, there will be something that you hear in passing that will ignite something in you that, had you not heard just that one word, your promise might not ever be manifested. So if you are listening today, I thank you for joining us. And it is my prayer that something you heard today is igniting a fire within you that's going to manifest greatness in the days to come. Iman, tell us what's ahead for you. What do you have planned? What's on the future agenda? Tell us what's going on.
Sure. Well, we're gearing up for summertime. That will be probably our most popular time at the gym. Right now we're seeing it's quiet during the day because most of the kids are in school, and right at 5, it's a madhouse. So we're working on programming to offer to adults, and creating summer camps tied in with academic enrichment as well, to give them supplement what they learned from this past year, but then get them ready for the next school year as well. So we're excited for the summer.
Now, tell us, if someone is interested in joining your camp and finding out more about you, how can they get information on the camp and to find you?
Yep, they can get on thecampusdmv.com. That is the best way to reach me. When they hit call us now, it'll go directly to me. They can book court time and shooting machine time right there and sign up for the programming that we are offering. Thecampusdmv.com.
Excellent. I love it. Thecampusdmv.com. If you have a child, what's the age range?
2 to 102.
Oh, baby, I know what Malia's doing for the summer. Yes, excellent. So thecampusdmv.com. As we are opening up, I do believe that they'll have safety precautions in place to abide by where we will be at that time. But for more information, please visit thecampusdmv.com if you want to have a place for your child to simply be a kid. This time has been listen, I know that there have been some learning struggles during this time, and we have yet to see some of the repercussions this time may have had on some of our children. Please give them some sense of we're wired for connection. Our children need other kids to grow, to learn, to flourish. So please consider thecampusdmv.com as we give our kids something that they rightfully deserve, which is their childhood. Karen, please tell us, what do you have on the horizon? What's coming up with you?
Well, with me, I actually am doing a 30-day group. It's a 30-day journey with a group of women, and it's called Words Work Wonders. And that's my baby, where I help women speak intentionally with power and authority, really being focused on what we're speaking out of our mouths. And so that is something that I'm focusing on right now. And of course, still sharing about journaling and helping people understand the benefits of that. So I'm just continuing to try to empower women from the inside out.
I love it. I love it. Well, listen, we look forward to a Woman's Voice family. We look forward to welcoming you to our family. And then we look forward to following you on the journey. We please be sure that we get all of your contact information. Karen, tell us again how we can reach you, because you have journals, you have pens, and you do have a jewelry collection that's coming out soon. How can we reach you?
Yes, you can reach me at KarenBMoore.org. It's Karen, B as in baseball, more.org. That's my website, and you can contact me through that website. You can also see the journals and pins and our Empower You apparel that we offer. So KarenBMoore.org, and that's how you can reach me.
I love it. I just absolutely adore being in the presence of women who are doing some phenomenal things to make a difference in the places where we live, work, and worship. And I am extremely passionate about D6. So to have a D6 family member on the line today has been absolutely phenomenal. Representing North Carolina, you're representing my family's in Durham. Yes. So it's great. It was a great moment with you ladies. I do believe that somebody's life will be impacted as a result of you simply telling your story, because that is all that we have, is our story, which is our testimony, which is our strength and somebody else's answer. So again, thank you so very much for joining me on the Herversations podcast. You can catch us again in 2 weeks. This podcast is bi-weekly. I look forward to our very next one. My accountability team will be before us. Oh, Jesus, I believe in every area you should have accountability. So I'm looking forward to sharing a moment with my accountability team. And again, thank you for joining Herversations. You matter, your voice matters, and together we all matter. Again, I thank you, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.